Today, I'm going to be trying out Castmagic. This is an AI tool that lets you upload any audio or video file, and then they say they can repurpose it into just about any form of content you can imagine. So, if you've got a full length YouTube video and you want to create some shorts for social media, Castmagic can do that for you. Let's say you've got, I don't know, how about a Zoom meeting that you were on and you need to summarize it into bullet points so that everybody knows what was discussed. Castmagic can do that for you as well. In fact, they've got a direct Zoom integration. But how well does any of this work? Well, in this video, I'm going to be putting Castmagic through its paces. I'll let you know what I think so you can decide in the end if this is a good fit for your business. By the way, Castmagic is back on AppSumo for a very short period of time. If you watch this video and you find Castmagic to be a good fit for you, I don't know if it's going to be, but by the end, you can decide for yourself. And I've got a link in the description that you can click to help support this content. I want to thank everybody who's been clicking my links, as well as AppSumo for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's get into it. Let's try out Castmagic. So here is the Castmagic user interface. And the first thing you need to understand about Castmagic is you want to create something called a space for each type of content that you want to repurpose. So if you've got YouTube videos you want to upload, you'll create a YouTube space. Or if you do a lot of Zoom meetings, you'll create a meeting space. In fact, you could even have multiple types of meetings. Let's say here's your team meetings, and then you also do discovery calls with potential clients. Anything that you want to have kind of a workflow around for content, for summarization, you'll create a dedicated space for that content type. By the way, there is no limit on how many spaces you can create. The limits with Castmagic are just based around how much you actually upload to the platform in minutes, and you can organize them into unlimited spaces. Now, the reason that you use those dedicated spaces is they have prompts built into the space, and those prompts will fire off automatically when you upload content. So here is my YouTube space, and under the settings, you can see that prompts is one of the sections here. If I click on this, I can see all of the prompts that will run. So it's going to create title ideas, YouTube keywords, YouTube description. So this is clearly for someone who's creating YouTube content themselves. You'd upload your video into Castmagic first, and it's going to give you all of the metadata that you could use to publish over on YouTube. Timestamps, clip finders, so you can actually find clips and then, make shorts out of your content. An email newsletter, so you can let your subscribers know about your new video. You get the idea here. You can add up to 70 different prompts for each space. And by the way, these are all included in basically like a preset. So when I create the space, they say, hey, what's the purpose of this? And then they give you a bunch of prompts to get going. So you're not stuck figuring this out all on your own, which is really nice. Now, like I said, you get a maximum of 70 prompts, so you can keep all of these around. You can disable or remove certain ones if you don't want to use them, but you can always add in your own prompts right up here, new custom prompt. You give it a name, you give the prompt right here, and then a content sample. So if you've got, let's say you're having it write a social media post, you can paste in a social media post of yours that did really well in the past, and then it'll mimic that when it actually generates the content. Now, there's also this idea of community prompts, which are prompts that other users have shared. So if you want to get some more ideas for different prompts that you can add, you can click right up here and then search for a type of prompt that you want to use. Like, let's say I wanted to summarize this video into an SMS. I've got an SMS list. I want to let everybody know via SMS. I could type in SMS right here, and then it's going to give me a 240 character update about the recording. So I'll just click add to space, and then down here at the bottom, I've got my SMS prompt. Now, I think the idea of community prompts is a good one, but unfortunately, there's just not a lot of volume here. I don't think it's got enough traction within the platform to really be super usable, which also it's kind of a vicious cycle. Then if people aren't using community prompts, they're less likely to make their own community prompts. And you can see here, I think there's only about 2 pages worth of community prompts. So cool idea, but right now just doesn't have enough volume to really make it worth spending a ton of time on. Okay, so now you understand how spaces work and that they're basically like containers for automatically run prompts when you add your own media. And you'd add your own recordings right here where it says recordings, and then we can import audio or video right here. Just drag or drop the files in or grab a link from any of these platforms. Just about everything you can think of is here. We've got Vimeo, Reels, TikTok, Google Drive. They're all there. You can find everything that you need. Just paste in the link or drag and drop it in. description. If you're a podcaster and you want to make some content from your podcast, you can even just import your RSS feed and it's going to go out and grab the latest episodes from there. There's also integrations with Zapier and Zoom. So any file that you can make accessible to Zapier, well, then Castmagic will be able to grab. And if you've got some recordings on Zoom, you'll be able to import them directly as soon as you connect up your account. I've already done so here, so I could just click this import from Zoom and grab my call recordings and have them automatically transcribed inside of Castmagic. Now, the one downside that I will say is that as of right now, as of the time I'm making this recording, the YouTube integration is not working, unfortunately. So if I paste in a YouTube link here and hit submit, it's going to tell me that YouTube is blocking URL imports. So that kind of stinks. I mean, it's not the end of the world. There's certainly a lot of other ways to download YouTube videos. I use a tool on the Mac called PullTube. I've been using it forever and I love that tool. I never would give it up, but it certainly would be nicer to just drop the link right into Castmagic. But I do have to give them prompts for including like a Loom integration. That's one thing that's a little bit tricky to download is Loom videos. If you are not a premium member, they make it really, really difficult to grab. So I've got a Loom video here. Let's go ahead and try this out. It says submitting and there you go. It's downloading the Loom video. It's going to automatically transcribe it. And then because I'm inside of my YouTube space, it's going to treat it like a YouTube video and create all of those different pieces of content around this Loom video, which is actually just a customer support video. So we probably won't look at this transcript. It's one of my clients asking questions about how to do stuff on their website. So while this is uploading, like I can continue to use the platform and it's really nice. This window just lives here. So I can like click through into other sections and it still continues to, process and I can minimize it if I don't want it to take as much space. So let's head over to my meeting space. And what I did here is actually just upload like a GitHub meeting that I downloaded off of YouTube. So I'm going to open this up. I've got the recording already imported. By the way, it uploaded and imported, transcribed very, very quickly. And there are email notifications that go out. So if you don't want to sit around and wait for like this to process, it happens really quickly. Now I've got my GitLab video up here and I can watch the video. And if I scroll down, I can actually see the full transcript. And I've got a bunch of different options here. I can copy the timestamps for each little area. I can select text. So let's say this was what I think is going to be a viral clip. I can select it and then I can create either an audiogram, an image with a quote of the text. So it'd be really good for something like Pinterest or maybe Instagram, something like that. Or I could create a caption video, which I think is awesome. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on that and it's going to grab a snippet of wherever I had selected. And it's just created a video here of only that. So a lot of tools that try to make clips for you will do too much in my opinion. So they'll try to reframe the video. They'll try to find the viral moments for you. And just about always, they clip off an important part, like they don't get the right start and you've got to try to edit it. Hopefully they've got an editor built in, but I really like the fact that I could just select the text that I think is going to be viral. And of course we could create a prompt to locate those for us, but I can select it, say yes, create the clip for me. And then within seconds, I've got that clip ready to export right here. Now, of course, I could change this into a different format. So right now it's square. I could do 9:16. That puts the captions below. I can do 4:5, a little bit of a weird shape there. I'm not sure what platform that's for. Or I could keep it original if I prefer. Now, you might remember that the other options were for text, where I mentioned it was like a quote, or an audiogram. So what is this all about? Well, the audiogram is going to take that clip and it's just going to show me the text without showing me the meeting. So I can play the preview here.
And we don't have a ton of items to.
So there you go. There's a little clip from the meeting. If I wanted to share that, hopefully it's a little bit more interesting than that. I could download this and then upload it to social media to share this. We've got the same options here in terms of resolution: 1:1, 9:16, 16:9, and 4:5. The text option lets you add an important quote from the content and then download that as an image. So right now I'm on text. I can click on the T button right here and I can add in my quote. So right now it's just giving me the title of the video, but I can put in my quote, add a title for the image, and put the artist here. Now remember, this is not going to have any audio or video associated with it, so the quote should be pretty captivating. We can go ahead and style this. Maybe we add a different color background. And maybe you want it to be one by one. I think it looks better when it's one by one because it makes the text a little larger. In my opinion, the captions and audiograms are awesome, but the little text things here just need some more style options, formatting of the text, maybe uploading your own logo, things like that. But it's a really good start. So hopefully they continue to improve this part of the product. All right, so jumping back over into the transcript, because really we're just scratching the surface here. In the transcript, we can edit the transcript right here, press Command E or just click Edit Transcript, and you can correct any mistakes that might have occurred. You can exclude certain areas so that when the AI runs, it doesn't utilize a part of the transcript that you don't want. It could be private data, it could be incorrect, whatever you want to do. You just select it and then choose exclude, and there we go. Now it's crossed out. It won't be utilized for the AI. Now you notice here that it's identified all of the names of the people in this meeting. It did that automatically using AI. It just listened to the meeting and was able to deduce who was speaking. That's absolutely amazing. But if it got something wrong, you can go over to the speakers section and then just rename or correct whoever may have been incorrectly named. So very easy to do so. Just click on it and then you can hear their voice, give it a new name if you want, or maybe change the speaker if it just had like a certain section assigned to the wrong person because they had similar voices. Now, because when I uploaded this video, I was in the meeting space, it went ahead and created all of the prompts that are inside of the meeting space for me, and those live right over here under Create Content. So these prompts have already run. We've got a meeting title, a one-sentence summary, 7 themes, recording timestamps. You can see it's done a lot of work here for me. Here's one: lecture topics and bullets. Let's say I was supposed to email out a summary of everything that happened at this meeting. Very often with tools like this, in fact, if you're using ChatGPT or Claude to try to do something similar, well, sure, you can, but good luck trying to get back to where you've actually generated the content if you don't take action right then and there. They added a really cool feature here called Add to Pipeline. So if I know I need to actually email this out, or better yet, one of my team members is supposed to do this, I can find the generated content, choose Add to Pipeline, and then I basically have like a mini project management system right inside of this tool. So it's grabbed the content that was generated. Then if I scroll down here, I can categorize it. So this is in draft mode right now. I want someone to go through and review it. I can assign it to a team member. Right now, I'm the only team member, but you can add more team members depending on what plan you get from AppSumo. You can schedule a due date. Let's say I want this done on the 18th. And I can give it a label here. So let's say this needs attention. You can customize all of this, by the way, so we can have whatever tags are important to you. And let's go ahead and add this to our pipeline. And now we're still under Create Content here. And if I scroll down, there's more content that was created for me, but I want to go ahead and make sure that this content gets created. So I'll go over to my pipeline. That's the next step. And sure enough, I've got my draft for the lecture topics and bullets. I can click on that one. And then I've got a full-on collaborative workspace here where I can actually share a link to this. So I've got it set to team only now, but I could share this for commenting, for viewing. And then it's just like Google Docs where you can go in and you can work at the same time on a document together to get your content ready to go. There's even a commenting system down here where you can actually tag other users and they'll get a notification that they've been mentioned to, go ahead and correspond with you to make sure the content gets shaped up. These are so simple things, but no one has done this from the start with an AI-based tool. Super impressive, very powerful way to create, starting off with the seed from AI. By the way, that content pipeline I was talking about, that's totally customizable inside of the workflow under settings for each space. So you can have a different workflow for every single space. So here's the workflow. We've got our backlog, to do, in progress, done, and canceled. Here are the different labels that we saw. You can easily add or remove any items that you want. All right, there's still a ton more features to cover, so let's check out another example. Here is my YouTube space, and I've already uploaded and processed my Diaflow video that I released a couple weeks back. Diaflow, really cool lifetime deal, currently available. Definitely recommend checking that one out if you haven't already. But let's go ahead and let's dig in a little bit here. I've got my video, just like we saw before. We've got the transcript. I can scroll through and I can check it to make sure everything is correct. And you know what? I did notice that sometimes it's spelling it incorrectly. It says dial flow rather than diaflow. So what I can do is edit the transcript and I can do find and replace and just type in dial flow, which it found 5 times. And I'm just going to replace it with diaflow. All right, there we go. It's going to go ahead and confirm. And now it's looking a lot better in the transcript. All right, those are all resolved. Now let's move over to the create content section. We saw this before for the meetings, but it was related to meetings. Now I've got some title options for my YouTube video, some YouTube keywords. We covered these before, but now you can see it actually did generate the content and it looks pretty good. If I wanted to utilize this YouTube description, I could easily add it to my pipeline. Just click add a pipeline here. I could have it regenerate this content if I wanted to, or maybe I just want to copy it right over into YouTube Studio. I'll click the copy button right here. Yeah, I mean, it's got like timestamps and everything. So very helpful to just copy and paste this over into your YouTube Studio. And it does give you like multiple options. So I think these are pretty good. But if I wanted to see what else it came up with, well, here we go. We've got a lot more detailed timestamps with pretty long descriptions. This wouldn't work so well for YouTube, but it could work for another platform. And I really like this section here. It's the clip finder, where it's basically trying to find clips from the video that's, longer that you could transform into short form content. So let's say I wanted to grab this one right here, optimizing chatbots. I can click right on this to open it up in the studio. And then we have all of the same features we saw before, where I could do a captions video and basically just go ahead and download this, upload it as a short or on another platform, link over to the full form content to drive a little bit more traffic. All right, so we've seen the transcript, we've created content, we checked out the pipeline. One thing we've not covered yet is Magic Chat. Magic Chat is basically like a ChatGPT instance that you can use with any piece of content that you upload. So if you want to interact in more of a chatbot type of format, like, tell me what the overall impression of this video is. All right, tell me what the overall impression of this product is, and I'll hit generate. And there we go. It's going to go ahead and just give me a very quick summary saying I gave it an 8.6 out of 10. It's a powerful tool with a lot of potential to serve business. All right. So then it goes on to describe a little bit more about what I thought. I could easily take this and add it to my pipeline. I could save it as my own prompt so that every time I create a video, it's going to give me an overall impression of the product inside of the video. So yeah, just very, very intelligent how they have integrated all of their tools with each other. So it's very easy to move data around. We're not stuck copying and pasting everything ourselves. All right, just a few more things to cover here. I want to go over something called pages. This is where you'll go if you want to create long form blog posts, 3,000 words, something like that. So you go over to pages and then you hit new page right here. This is going to allow you to connect up to 5 different pieces of your content. You don't have to do that. You could just do one if you want. So I've only got Diaflow uploaded to this space. So I'll choose this and then it'll even generate an image for me. And essentially I can just say, write a blog post. Here, I said, write a blog post that acts as show notes for this video. And then I'll click generate, and it's going to go ahead and create the entire post for me. We'll wait a minute here while it does so. Now, while this is working, I want to point out what's so powerful about this is that you could do 4 or 5 different pieces of content and then have it do a roundup of everything inside of those collection of videos or audio files, podcast episodes. Be a really great way to create additional content. Let's say you're a podcaster and you've done several episodes on a particular subject. Well, you could go ahead and create a roundup by linking all of those episodes together, telling the tool to write a summary of all of the content on, whatever subject you're covering. Sauna usage, you're in the health and fitness and you write a lot about, or you do podcasting a lot about saunas. Well, maybe not every episode is entirely about saunas, but you could link up to those episodes and have it create kind of a grand master sauna article that you could post on your website. All right, here we go. I've got my article. It's looking pretty good, very thorough here. Now, full disclosure, I did go back and beef up that prompt a little bit because the first draft that came out was pretty weak, but this new version is very, very thorough and it even includes timestamps. So looking really good. If you want to see the prompt that I used, just click on the triple dots up here. I can see the entire prompt. I didn't really add that much. I just said to be thorough, make it at least 1,500 words, include an introduction and a summary at the end. So So, yeah, overall, very, very easy to go ahead and create an entire article here from a piece of content. So, man, if you compare this to some of the other tools that have been on AppSumo, like video to text, I think was one, or maybe video to page, that those both existed. There was also roundups. Well, we've kind of been able to do both of those things right here. And we're also creating shorts. So you could replace all of those tools that created shorts. Really, Castmagic has a lot of boxes checked here, and all at a pretty high level, I will add. Now, I also want to point out that they do have an iOS app. It's currently in beta, so you need to join their test flight to get access, which I did. I tried this out. The iOS app works great. There's not a whole lot to show you on it, but I tested it out by just launching the app, and then essentially you just start a voice recording. Instantly, upon recording my short little memo here, it did upload right into my account. So, like, I stopped on my phone and it showed up in the cloud almost right away, completely transcribed. And then it just works like any other space where we've got our own prompt section. We can have workflows. So if you're using this as a place to brainstorm content ideas, walk around, talk to your phone, list a bunch of content ideas, and then you can very easily start to assign those right inside of Castmagic as actual pieces of content you want your team to create. Really, really amazing way to organize your life. Like, it doesn't even have to be about content, right? It could be anything that you need to organize in your life. You could go on a walk, talk to your phone, and then come back, and you'll have a very detailed list of all of the stuff that you need to get done and a built in task manager that you can set up the assignments for. I mean, that's brilliant. All right, let's talk deal terms. So here's the AppSumo deal page. Now, it starts off at just $59, but there is a catch to that $59. And I want to preface this by saying AppSumo seems to be trying quite a few different things right now, which I appreciate. Businesses need to try new things in order to grow and succeed and keep up with changing industries. And certainly software is changing very quickly. So what is interesting here is that plans on tier 1 and tier 2 are not lifetime deals. They're annual plans. So $59 for tier 1. And if we scroll down here, yeah, here it is. Tier 1 is 1 year of access. Tier 2 is 3 years of access. I don't believe these will renew at these rates, by the way. Check on that. But as far as I understand, this is kind of a one-time purchase to get discounted access to the service. And if you want to go all the way up to tiers 3 or above, there's actually 5 total, you will get lifetime access, but at a significant cost here. Now it's going to be $400, which honestly, I feel like is kind of worth it. This tool is amazing and the limits are really, really good. By the way, all of the plans get all of the features. It's just the number of minutes you'll get per month. And then once you jump up to tier 4, you'll get multiple workspaces. So what I showed you was one workspace. I can have unlimited spaces inside of that, but the overall account, essentially we would get 3 of those on tier 4 and even more on tier 5. But all of the other features like magic chats, long form AI, unlimited regenerations, media clipping, all of that, the audiograms, those are all included on every single plan. So I feel like the plans themselves are really generous, which kind of makes sense. That's why the lowest LTD starts off at $400. Just a few limits you should check out here. So maximum size of upload is 10 gigabytes. Not a huge deal in my book because you can always compress audio. If it's spoken word, that is a really long file. Maximum concurrent upload. So that's uploads at the same time, right? It's not total number of uploads. You actually get unlimited file uploads. But maximum uploads at once is going to be 5. So if you've got an entire YouTube channel of like hundreds of videos you want to dump in, that's going to take you a little bit of time, but something you should be aware of. Also, those pages we checked out where I generated the article, you get 10 of those per month. So it's not unlimited. You won't be able to just, make 1,000 different posts for your website. Definitely keep that in mind. And then really the only other thing I want to make super clear is if you want to collaborate, you'll need to go up to tier 4 because that gets you unlimited seats. Otherwise, you just get one user. Now, you could create spaces for clients for sure, but you're going to need to have at least tier 4 if you want to have those clients actually log in and view that space. Otherwise, you'll be doing everything for them. I do love the little warning here where they're introducing the annual plans. It says, don't worry, lifetime deals are here to stay. That is good because that's one of the reasons we all love AppSumo, right? Is the lifetime deals. So I think it's smart if they can only bring a established, really high quality platform like Castmagic onto AppSumo by making the price a lot higher. Well, they still want to find a way to make it attractive and interesting to other people that maybe can't afford $400, but they're willing to spend $60 for 1 year of access, which is actually still an insanely good deal. So, yeah, I like that they're trying new things. And honestly, this one is pretty good. So, it's a great high quality tool. I think it's worth it. I guess the way I'm interpreting this is that AppSumo wants to attract higher quality tools to their platform. And you know what? Those higher quality tools are going to expect to charge a little bit more. So if it takes charging $400 for an LTD to get a tool as good as Castmagic to come back on the platform, well, you know what? For me, that personally, I think that's worth it. I know not everyone's going to be able to afford it, but you know what? AppSumo is a big marketplace. There are lots of tools available at every price point. All right, so in conclusion, I think Castmagic is a really high quality tool. It checks a lot of those content repurposing boxes in a way that I don't think any other LTD has done before, at least not all under one roof. We've had good examples of certain pieces of this, but have everything working together so smoothly in Castmagic is really impressive. So I'm going to go ahead and give Castmagic an 8.8. Definitely recommend checking this one out. Man, I've been giving a lot of scores in the 8s recently, which I know a lot of you have noticed in the comments. And I gotta say, I think it's because either I'm just picking the better tools to review, or AppSumo is really focused on quality right now, which I definitely love to see. All right, so that's gonna do it for this video. Leave me any questions or comments down below. I'm sure some of you are going to have things to say about this deal. I wanna hear all about it. Otherwise, hit the like button if you've enjoyed the content. Click my link before purchasing at AppSumo, and I'll see you in the next review.